Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the costumeco channel. And we are back today with another wonderful interview with Propstore, who are here today. They have an amazing collection. With me to help break this all down with me, I have my partner Ro from Scariff Podcast. Hey, Ro.
How are you? How is everybody?
We're well, and also we can see Maegen is there. Maegen Hensley, she's the director of Asset Management. She's back again. We haven't scared her off. Hi, Maegen.
Not yet. Hi.
And in behind the scenes, we have Cameron Rookie, who's the marketing assistant at Propstore, and also Charlie, who is, I believe he's running the camera for us.
Yeah.
The video.
That's right.
But anyway, today, so we're going to be talking about the Planet Hollywood online auction. It's running from May 21st to June 11th, 2025. So it's open now, just opened this week. And we've been trying to set this up. So I'm really excited that we're able to do this. And this is, Ro, I feel like this is more my stream because I've sort of picked out most of the items.
You have a good eye. You have a good eye, though.
There no gremlins. There are gremlins in this auction, but we don't have a gremlin. I don't think there's a gremlin there. There was some Star Wars stuff in this auction. I did see, I believe, as well. So there's something for everyone. But anyway, Ro, before we get started, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself? We had a wonderful Andor stream a couple weeks ago or a week ago. That was really amazing. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. So I got a podcast. We do live stuff on Saturdays when the occasion calls for it. We just finished, reviewing and talking about the Andor series. Great show, and really, a weekly podcast. We talk about nerdy stuff, not only Star Wars, but anything that fandom is talking about: movies, sci-fi. Indiana Jones, adventure, anything that the cool kids are talking about, that's what we're talking about too.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of those items come up to auction as well. Mm-hmm. Some of the stuff that we really love and enjoy. And Maegen, I know I like to say you're a fellow nerd of ours.
I am, absolutely.
You're a costume designer as well.
Yep.
So I always appreciate your perspective on things. And so you've got a nice little lineup. Do you mind if I just highlight you a little bit so you can...
Sure. Go you right over.
What you've got on display? There you are.
Yep.
I didn't pick very colorful costumes, but they're really cool costumes. I was just realizing.
Yeah, there's a few black ones here, and our peaches are always so peachy, but faded peachy. But you picked out some really fan favorites from the 80s and 90s, of course. Which one do you want me to start with? I can talk about them all.
Well, we were just talking about, so I was mentioning to you that I was a huge Shogun lover from the 80s.
Right.
My parents watched the show, and I actually sat on the family room floor. So there you have actually the Richard Chamberlain costume. He passed away recently, which is probably going to, add to the value of it. But this is his Major John Blackthorne's costume, his Erasmus, which is the ship that he came in on. And so this is his sort of, I would call it his arrival outfit. And I think it takes place in the early 1600s. So do you have a little bit of information you can share about it?
Of course. I mean, if you're looking at time period wise and what the 70s and 80s brought to costuming as far as time period, they weren't always historically accurate. They did try to go for the silhouette, so you can see the puffiness in comparison to Three Musketeers back here. But fun little ship outfit, I would say. It's, and they did, as far as fabrication goes. Or fabrics go. They have the leather vest, which is nice. The cotton shift. And they sort of went for this wool, I want to say, blend cotton, really thick pants, which balloons out, and that's the silhouette that you see. But I love the 80s style cowboy boots at the bottom that they just rolled down.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Yeah, and actually, I know that you did screen match this because there's some. And the other thing I was going to mention that was very cool about this movie, this mini series, I should say, is that it won an Emmy for best costumes. So this is an award-winning series as well.
Award-winning, and then design, everything. Yep.
Yeah, and then the new series, actually, as I mentioned to you, Carlos Rosario, who was on my show, is out now as well. So I always love tying those, generational series together like that. So a wonderful piece. Worn by
exactly.
the iconic Richard Chamberlain, who, as I was mentioning, was kind of a bit of a sex symbol back in the 80s. He also did the Thornbirds. Ro, you wouldn't know this stuff because you're too young, but your parents probably would have watched it.
I remember I remember Shogun, and it's
Oh, you
funny.
do?
I was going to ask you. You know, a lot of costumes of our favorite genre mostly are shot in a studio, the controlled environment, and stuff like
Right.
that. But obviously, a costume like this is worn. It's out there on location. I wanted to ask you, in general, do any of the costumes come with? I mean, not by choice, but do they have a certain smell, aroma? Like, do they smell like this one? Does it smell like the sea?
Not at all.
No.
So, luckily, it was a common practice to go ahead and dry clean a lot of your costumes when they wrapped. Not
Okay.
everything, and especially not armor. So armor, you can't really dry clean it, right? You have to kind of spot clean it if you can, but they never wanted to take off any natural dirt that ended up or any production made distressing on there. So it was very limited. So the distressing that you see on here is actually production made. They slashed at the waist. They did all of the little fraying at the edges to make it worn out. You can see that 70s, 80s sexy look right there.
Oh, yeah.
But it is very yellowed and probably tea dyed or something over it to make it worn out, because back then you would have worn these shifts underneath to protect your oils and skins from the more expensive fabrics. So this is the thing that got washed frequently, and they would bleach them. So these would be white. But if you're out on sea for a long period of time, it's going to yellow. It's going to yellow in the sun. It's going to yellow because of the sea air. And so they purposely made it that way to look very worn, especially on him and during that show. So in a sense, from production, you're not going to get so much of that because they do try to keep it somewhat clean and consistent from take to take. But when we receive them, they are generally clean. And there's only been a couple occasions where we've opened a box and went, oh, okay, that we're going to close the box.
Wow.
So,
Oh, gosh.
yeah, and it
Yeah.
has happened. Yeah,
I have to say, I'm going by memory, but I think it actually was shot in Japan, the series.
Oh.
So
I didn't know
their
that.
sea smell might have been there originally,
Right.
but
I
it's
would
probably gone
guarantee
now.
that.
It's been several years.
It smells just fine. For those
Yeah.
who are wanting to purchase it, it smells just fine.
But some people, some people might hope for the whole Richard Chamberlain smell. Who knows?
Yes.
Well, they're going to have to get in there, and I'm not getting in there. So
No, I wouldn't.
they can.
No.
They
Good
can
call,
maybe
Megan.
try
She's
the
wearing
color.
gloves too, so
Well, we got to treat our pieces like museum pieces as they
Of
are.
course.
So.
Yeah.
So
Very
that's
nice.
a wonderful piece that someone's going to really enjoy. Now, this isn't as big of a deal, in the grand scheme of things, but I know this is Planet Hollywood auction, and I believe that Bruce Willis was one of the owners originally. I believe with like Arnold Schwarzenegger and the group. So he has a costume in behind there, which is David Addison's tuxedo. You seem to know a little bit more about the story behind it, but before Bruce Willis was a big action hero, he started on a show called Moonlighting, and was like, I would think I was 15 or something. It was like madly in love. It was like love at first sight for me.
Ooh.
So I just wanted to see a little bit of David Addison.
Okay, I'm going to scooch him over a little bit so that you can sort
Sure.
of see him. Unfortunately, we're like short here. I'm going to actually hand this over to Cameron, my lovely assistant.
Oh, sorry.
So we can get that out of there.
We're making her do work, Ro.
It's okay. We got a small theater here right now. So, it's a classic boxy 80s tuxedo, but Bruce Willis absolutely looks dashing in it. It is colored a little bit from time, so you can see a little bit of coloring on it, and it doesn't have the center tuxedo buttons, but the actual tuxedo jacket, really great condition. You can see the screenshots on the listing, which is nice. You see him in it, and he looks so young.
Oh, he is. I think he was. Because Sybil Shepherd was his co-star, and I believe he was maybe a bit older than him, but no, he must have been in his 20s. I think.
I think so too. So
hottie.
Anyway, I mean, this is a 3-piece suit, or I'm sorry, it's a 4-piece suit. It's got a vest underneath, so I'm just going to go ahead and open that up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And then it does have some lovely labels, the Malibu Clothing from Beverly Hills label. And then, I mean, it says pure wool on here, so you know the quality of this is very high. They spared no expense for Mr. Willis here. And then
it's in pretty good shape.
It's in amazing shape.
Yeah. I think the person that had it he kept it in a lovely bag. It never deteriorated. This yellowed just a little bit, but I mean, you put it on a mannequin and it's stark white against the black, so it's really nice. It's got the nice satin sheen on it. I mean, it's a nice showpiece, and if anybody just wants to brag that they own something, Bruce Willis. So
if you can't own the Fifth Element, you could own a David Addison from Moonlighting.
Right.
Which I know has a huge fan base, by the way. It's kind of like Twin Peaks. Like, there's a huge fan base for Moonlighting. Now next to it, you have, I love Michael York because he's in one of my favorite movies, Logan's Run. But as a kid, I also did love the Three Musketeers and the Four Musketeers. I think this is the Four Musketeers. So Michael York played D'Artagnan. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. This actually looks like a pretty good representation of the time period, Megan. You know historical costumes really well. What are your thoughts on it?
It's closer.
It's closer than the Erasmus costume.
I mean, if you look at some, paintings back then, they're a little bit more ostentatious than you would expect. But, I mean, they got some lovely embroidery in here. I do believe this is credited to both Three Musketeers and Four Musketeers.
Oh, okay.
I have to take a look at that. Yeah. And when we found it, there was some tiny little tucks in here and here indicating that it was used for another production. And we were able to match it to that production. So that was super exciting because you never, you always hear about them switching on and off these costumes. Sometimes you even see several dresses. I've got some great examples of a dress appearing on a lady at the end of Back to the Future 3, and then all of a sudden appearing in Far and Away, where Nicole Kidman's, drooling over this dress. And so it's fun to see that this, even back then, these kind of pieces just cycled through productions. It's got hooks and eyes, which is actually something you don't see a lot. A lot of them like to do Velcro or zippers. Yeah. So they really kind of did pay attention to some of the historical aspects of these, which is, I find fascinating. And you got your balloon pants in there. It is just the top and the bottom with the peekaboo, kind of satin in here. But a fun piece, and really one of those showstoppers that you put in your living room or you put in your museum because of all the things, all the intricate details that they did even back then. So really fond of this one.
It looks heavy.
It's the 70s.
Yes.
Yeah, 73, 74.
It is heavy.
And actually, Charlie, when you were zooming in there, you could really see all of the velvet. I think it's velvet trim.
It is. There's a combination of piping and velvet trim, and then this kind of wonky ribbon that they use for the bows. I've never seen this ribbon before, but it's pretty cool. It's just
interesting.
Kind of pops out. Yeah, it's really really fun. Then it's just satin lined, and it's really well made, and that's and a testament to how long it's lasted and how beautiful it looks even today. So.
Does it have ribbons on the edges too, on the side there?
It's got these pockets here, and I can try and squeeze into the back here. In the back you'll see online, if you go to propstore.com, of course, you'll see the back photos, and it's got 2 bows there.
Oh, wow.
Why they put so many bows on a Three Musketeer, I have no idea, but it looks
good. And of course it doesn't have the cape because they all wore capes in the show, but that's the other thing I was going to say is that Michael York also was in Romeo and Juliet, so that was another period film that he did where that was around in the 70s, I believe, as well. So anyway, anytime you have a Michael York costume, that's like a huge deal because
I'll ping you. Yeah.
First of all, he's still around. He was in Austin Powers, so we love Michael York, right?
That's true.
So really cool piece. I'm really happy that you shared that with us.
Good. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah.
You want to move on over here, and then we'll get to the costumes?
Sure.
Sorry.
We'll do the props after? I noticed you've got
we
some
could do the
chocolate.
props
We'll get
after.
to the chocolate. That's one of my favorite snacks.
That version.
Okay.
So of course, we were talking about Kingpin, and this is the Amish costume. I find it really funny because it's made out of denim, and
Oh my God, I
even
didn't
though,
know that.
yeah, the jacket is, and even though
Isn't that
I mean,
hilarious?
the Amish, I don't think would have made a denim jacket, so I find that really funny. They did overalls, they bought made jeans, and they do wear denim because it's a cotton, right, and it's a natural fiber. But they typically wore wool or linen, so on the top.
Absolutely.
So having a denim, now I could be completely wrong on that, but I that's what I have seen in historical and in modern clothing that they wear. But I love that they did it almost out of the same denim as the pants, but the pants are obviously bought. And then they have this cool little, teal shirt underneath. So it's a 3-piece suit. I don't think this one has a vest. I didn't check beforehand. Yeah, no, it's just but it's also very heavy and large because Dennis Quaid is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
pretty,
actually,
pretty heavy.
Well, you know what? I'm trying to now. I was mentioning to you. I think I need to rewatch the movie. There might have been a joke about the jacket. I can't remember, but as I was mentioning to you earlier, it is a goofball comedy. By the Farrelly brothers. They did something about Mary as well. I believe it's the same directors, and it's just like sort of a ridiculously silly show. And so him playing this Amish character was really kind of right. I think he had a straw hat as well. He did have like an Amish straw hat, if I recall.
Yeah, I think that's in our scene references too.
But again, where I'm going. Well, this is '90s, so I haven't gone back that far this time.
That's true. It's his 90s. That's right.
But just
we're moving up in the years.
Yeah, something a little bit more whimsical and fun. We've got a little bit of action with Shogun and the Three Musketeers, and then this one's kind of a goofball comedy. And then speaking of comedies, also, did you want to do League of Their Own as well?
I do.
Okay.
I mean, this is one of my favorite movies, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, grew up in the 90s and loved every person in this film. What's nice about the selection that we have a couple of League of Their Own uniform lots, which is nice. So you can either go for just the dresses themselves, or there's a dress and shirt combination. And some of the dresses are even screen matched. So keep an eye out on that, because those are super valuable. And this one in particular I love because it's signed by Tom Hanks.
Oh, nice.
Wow, nice.
So,
amazing.
I mean, that was something that Planet Hollywood was really good about, was trying to get those actors to sign their pieces. And so if you even look through, you can see a ton of things that are signed that we're offering. I wish we had gotten like Rosie or Madonna to sign theirs, but Tom Hanks is just as good, and I love him to death. So I'm really glad that we were able to offer this one. So keep an eye out on League of Their Own, because there's some great offerings for just the uniforms, and even not just the pieces, but the the other team now that I can't remember the name.
Oh yeah, I can't remember. I was going to say, so when I was looking at this auction, because it says in the auction you have the Rosie O'Donnell one, and then you also have Ann Cusack, and I had to look this up, but that's John Cusack's sister. He has another sister. Ro, did you know that there were two Cusack?
Yeah, they're local, so yes.
Yes, because you're a Chicago boy,
right?
Where was it shot? Was it shot at like Wrigley Field or something?
No, not this.
Not this one?
Not this one, no.
But was it shot in Chicago?
I don't think it was shot in Chicago. This was directed by
Ron Howard?
Was it Ron Howard?
I believe so.
No,
I could be wrong.
I don't know those by heart.
Does
anyone know who directed League of Their Own? They're going to Google it now for us.
Penny Marshall.
Oh,
Penny Marshall.
Oh my gosh, of course. Yes.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know why we had to think about that one.
Yeah, it's terrible. I love
that. And I can picture her face, but it couldn't come to me fast enough.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Of course.
Because I think her and Rosie O'Donnell actually were really good friends too, and Madonna. That's really, she's a wonderful director.
Yeah, they made a great pair too.
Absolutely, yeah. So, what was it? And she's Rob Marshall's daughter. Actually, her dad was a director as well. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
You didn't? Oh, okay. I'm kind of like, I like to be like Jack is always like, why? How do you know this stuff?
Yeah.
I can tell you about the props and costumes, but
Yes,
the
you can tell me
directors, I
that.
really wish.
So,
But,
Megan, we're not
yeah.
going to keep you too much longer, but you have
Okay.
some things that you're going to show us. These aren't even on my wish list. These are just like little
They're
surprises.
Well, yeah, you have Ro here, so I was like, okay, we got to put some props out, and you know, I mean, we're gonna start with something weapony because he's very much of a weapons guy. But
Oh,
of
yeah.
course, this is from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and this is
Okay.
the cane that he uses at the end, you know, and he whips out when they're at the finale. So he's got the cane, and I can't remember what the character's name, of course, is. Doom, yes. Judge Doom. So it's that Who Framed Roger Rabbit cane with the sword that comes out. So it's a practical, I wouldn't say weapon because it's not sharp. It is a little sharp at the end, but not sharp at all at the front. So anybody who's a fan of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, just like I am, this is a great piece to have. And then we do have a Wonka bar. We have sold these in the past.
Oh,
They're very,
nice.
very popular. This is what I mean. Normally we just sell the wrapper, but this is an actual practical. I don't think there's a candy bar in it. Don't get too excited. But it actually looks like there is a candy bar because it's got a little dent in here. So what I'm not gonna,
wow.
we wouldn't dare open it, but whoever buys it can take a peek and see what they've got underneath that.
Yeah.
And that would be a fun little episode to do. But they even have like all the ingredients and stuff. It's just.
Wow.
This was the coolest piece that I saw, and I was like, I got it.
And that's from, is that Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? Is it from that
sorry.
one? Okay.
Sorry, yes, of course.
Oh, no, I know. I've
Charlie and
seen
the
all of
Chocolate
them.
Factory.
My son actually, that's his favorite. Like I'm a Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, but my son loves Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That's his favorite.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So
very nice.
And
Very
then
cool
of course, Ghost is my favorite. Whoopi Goldberg. Puts on a phenomenal portrayal of. You want me to step forward?
Here, let me put you on focus here on Solo. There we go.
And we have
Goldberg.
Oh, nice.
which is great. But at least this is a production made one, so they did make it during the production, not exactly screen matched. But you know, there's several scenes where these pop up, so this could have been on screen. And it's just a fun little piece. It's just a laminated. Yeah, but I love that.
What was her name? Is it Ida May? Ida May?
Ida May.
Ida May. Yeah. Iconic. 1980s, like Patrick Swayze, Demi Moore. You know, and someone was saying apparently people don't say her name correctly, but I think it's Demi.
Oh, Demi. Yeah, I've heard that too. In Notting Hill, I heard that.
In Notting Hill.
Yeah. She says I don't know, but Demi Moore, and I was like, oh, are we saying it wrong this
and speaking of, because we had Bruce Willis, so that was like a nice tie in there between Bruce Willis and Demi Moore. They were married.
And I think you still had Tom Hanks on the brain because you said Rita Wilson.
I did say, I'm sorry.
Rita Wilson's his wife. Yes, it's all connected.
Yeah.
Thank you for that catch. There's so many lovely connected couples there that
absolutely.
I can't help it. But I mean, speaking of ghosts, we actually have a set of vases too that are kind of a background, but it's that famous scene. So you want to get something to decor yourself, we'll have a little corner. You know,
are you talking about when they're doing the ceramic?
The pottery thing? Yeah.
Pottery?
The pottery scene.
Yeah. We all know that scene.
I have to tell you, when I was in college, I did pottery, and I would not want to be doing that.
Oh, well.
It's pretty dirty.
That's you. And then the last thing, I mean, I know I've got a Judge Dredd here. Yes. And it's one of the it's hanging on by a thread here because we were displaying it and I moved it, unfortunately. But you know, I mean, for your Judge Dredd fans, we have actually quite a few pieces in. Okay, you want me to? He wants me to show it off. Yeah. I'm supposed to show this off.
Now, which one is this? Is this the Carl Urban Judge
I think it's
Dredd,
the 95 version.
This would be the.
I'm gonna get fact checked right now.
Stallone.
So, the 95 version, which we have cannons, we have guns, we have I mean, so many pieces from just Judge Dredd. Actually, some of the movies, costume components, a costume. So it's anybody who's a Judge Dredd fan, you should definitely pop on because there's a lot to see on that one. I'm not sure why Planet Hollywood focused on that one in particular, but I'm glad they did because there's some
if it's
really fun
Stallone,
pieces.
I think he was one of the owners. I think it was him.
Well, then
and
that would
Arnold
make sense.
Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
And
You
Bruce
know more than I
Willis.
on that.
I don't know. I can't remember
Stallone was one of the
exactly, but I
owners, yeah.
remember it was like a partnership between these sort of some of the Hollywood
Celebrities.
icons. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was kind of sad when it closed because it was a really fun place to go. Ro, did you ever go to
Right.
Planet Hollywood?
Yes, and actually, because I'm in news, I covered the opening of Planet Hollywood here in Chicago.
Oh,
and
you did.
Oh, wow.
and I don't know why, but the Spice Girls came, and we waited for them to arrive, and it was a big hoo-ha.
Wow, that's
Well,
very cool.
Yeah.
If you want a bunch of screaming people for something, get
Yeah.
the Spice Girls there. So
Exactly. Yeah. But
that's
it was a
how
lot of
you
fun.
get a lot of people in. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
I remember it was cold though because I think we did it in mid-January, and it was really cold. But it was cool once we got in there. Obviously, I ran straight to Darth Vader, but
Of course. Yeah. So but you don't have that in the auction. There's no Darth Vaders in the auction.
No,
That one ended up-
I can't speak to what they used to own, so I'm not sure if that was just a touring thing, just to kind of,
It might have
or
been.
if it was a replica. It may have been a replica. They did do, quite a few really good replicas too that we are in this auction. So, I mean, sometimes they were replicas that were made out of original molds, which is super special,
Sure.
super important.
yeah.
So not everything was, either seen directly in the movie or they could have just been in the background. Like, for instance, the Interview with a Vampire, Burned Vampire. Love that movie. I am just a dead-on fan. And, of course, there's only one thing.
Sorry, it was a model?
It's a model. It's a
Oh my
tiny
God, I did
little
not
guy.
know that. Are you talking about
Yeah.
when Kirsten
When
Dunst?
So it's not that scene. It's
Okay.
when Louis comes back and burns down the theater.
Okay.
And this is the bodies that are left.
Oh, wow.
over.
That is
Oh,
so
wow.
cool.
So
But they
this
did
is
them
one
in
of the boxes.
miniature.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they did them in miniature. They could do a pan out, and you can see that. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
that's
it's
so cool.
But I mean, you see those scenes. You see the scene where she's, Claudia and Madeline are holding each other and dying, and then after that the fire and this pans out. So they did a really great match on, a full body burned to these tiny little guys. And yeah, that's why I wanted to show off, because just the artistry of some of the things that you see in the background are really impressive in the production world. So I just wanted to show it off because it's one of my favorite
Like when
movies.
you were mentioning about ghosts, so you were talking about some of the ceramics.
Background
Like
vases.
those were the ideas. Those were the ones that Demi Moore's character would have been making in
Correct.
her shop. Oh, that's so
Yep.
neat. I love
Yeah,
that.
exactly. And just to have those in your own home would be a lot of fun. So
cool.
the great thing about the Planet Hollywood auction is that a lot of these things were actually displayed in suites, in their hotels and in their restaurants and things like that. So we have a lot of that information on propstore.com in the individual listings. Everybody should come on, take a look, and take a read, because the information of where we get these things is very valuable. You can read all about it and then pick your favorite item. We have tons of movies that we're representing because that's the way Planet Hollywood operated.
And one of the greatest things about you guys is that there's so much research that goes into it.
yeah.
Not only just describing what movie and from where, but I love just reading through and taking a look at the catalog and just reading about all the stuff that you guys put on there. It's fantastic.
It's a book.
Yeah,
Megan,
for sure.
Megan, I think I've told you this before, that oftentimes when I'm doing like say something like Excalibur, when I did the costume, like I did a costume review of the show, of the movie, I should say, I went to your site, and because you always have such amazing photos and then just wonderful descriptions. And I know your team really, are so detailed, and the amount of research. And in a way, I kind of love it, because it almost feels like you're archiving these things. Like I was mentioning, like John Mallow, who is the costume designer for Star Wars, his kids put up his books or whatever for auction,
Right.
like they just, I guess after he passed away. And I was really kind of heartbroken about it. But one of the things that gave me some comfort was all of the beautiful photography that the auction house put into it. I can't remember exactly if it was yours, but I know you guys do this, and all the descriptions. So at least like for nerds like us, we are able to look at these things, and it's free, right? It's out there.
It is absolutely free. There's a lot of people that just go on propstore.com just to research their own things for reproducing, because the photos are absolutely amazing. Our photo team is wonderful. They do such a great job capturing every detail on some of the more expensive pieces, and even some of our, the pieces that you can capture for $100 to $500. Those detailed pictures are just amazing. And of course, our copy team and our research teams, kudos to them, because they do so much work put into each and every item. And you can see it's a book. You can read all about them and learn a little bit of every single item.
Well, I always want to, I just want to tell you how much I always appreciate your team. And Maegen, of course, you're always the face. So, we put you on the spot. So a big, thank you so much to you. Ro, before we go, do you want to ask Maegen any questions about any of the pieces we saw today?
No, I just I guess we can give Maegen one more opportunity. And you said the auction is now through what? And there's a lot of stuff on there for people to kind of look through and see what possibly they can acquire for their own collections.
Yeah, it's open now. You can bid now. It's through June 11th, and most things are starting at about $100. But you can see there's been some activity, a lot of interest. There's a lot of people watching these items. So definitely don't wait. Get onto propstore.com and make your mark. Get there and start bidding, because the way we have it logged in and set up is all you have to do is register, and then it will send you notifications if somebody outbids you, and you just want to, okay, well, I'll wait a day and then bid up. It's kind of a fun game. It's very much like any other online auction house, but we have everything so laid out, so beautiful, that you can spend hours just looking through the catalog. It's over 400 items. I'm not sure what else to say. You just have to go on and see for yourself.
Absolutely.
And it probably gets very exciting right when the auction's about to close, right? Like you can sit there.
Oh,
and now, Maegen, before I let you go, is there a chance, like I think I've done a couple of auctions myself, where you can say, this is going to be my top bid. Like I don't want to do this top bid right now, but let's say I know I'm going to be busy. I want to, I know that I don't want to spend more than, say, $500. So I'm going to put that in. And as people come in and bid, then your top bid will outdo them. Is that correct?
That is correct, in increments. So we don't just shoot up to your top bid. That's it's very much like other auction, or I would say eBay, for an example, where you say, I'm going to put in my max bid, you put in the max bid, and then as people are bidding, and yours will automatically bump up until they stop bidding, and then you may not even hit your max bid, but at least you've got some security that okay, I'm going to put this, I know I want to invest this much. A lot of people, what they'll do is they'll put in a max bid and then they'll watch it still, and they'll have it on in the background as they're working or something like that, and if it hits their max bid and somebody bids them, they may just do a little quick thing anyway, which is to them, that's a little exciting, gets towards the end. Just know that every time that you bid under a minute, it does add 5 minutes to that. We like to keep it fair. We like to keep everybody having a chance to bid.
Yes. So you can't be like 500,
you can't snipe.
550.
Yeah, you can't
do that. Okay. And also you might have a bit of regret, like you might kind of get out of control.
You might, but every bid is a binding contract, so
that's
you can't
true. That's
exactly get out of it.
Paces you a little bit.
Just be careful. Yeah.
Well, anyway, so thank you so much, Maegen. As always, we were talking about, this is Planet Hollywood online auction running from May 21st to June 11th, 2025. So there's lots of time to get in there. And I'll leave links to everything below as I try to.
Thank you.
And want to thank Maegen Hensley. She's the Director of Asset Management. And today we also had brought to you by Cameron Rookie, who is the Marketing Assistant. And Charley is running the camera. Thanks so much, Charley. He's like you, Rose. Like you're always behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes,
when you're on my show.
Behind the scenes.
And this will also be on Ro's podcast at some point, maybe later in the week. So thanks again, all. And
Thank you
for those
so
who are
much.
watching,
Bid.
bid.
Everyone bid.
Good luck bidding.
Good luck bidding, everyone. Thanks, Maegen.
Bye.